hard hat. Go
No,
ahead.
you started. Let's go, baby.
Woo!
Hey, who's ready to work in San Fran? Little late day action for the Celtics tonight. Wow. We got ourselves a 1-0 series lead, folks. Everyone's fired.
Holy
I can see.
wow.
Okay. Everyone's fired up as they should be.
They should be.
Hey, I want to say this. I hope everyone in the chat caught our preview show yesterday, because both John Zanis and myself, Jimmy Toscano, and Bobby Manning, who will be joining us, all picked the Celtics in this series. So, man, you couldn't ask for a better start. I will say this. I was not confident going into that fourth quarter. Hand up. I was not confident going into that fourth quarter. That third quarter performance was abysmal. But got to credit the Celtics. The players that started that fourth quarter, got to hand it to Jaylen Brown, got to hand it to Derek White. And then obviously playoff Al Prime, as I call him, came in huge. My X factor, John. And here we are with a 1-0 series lead. Who would have thought?
There's so much here. Yeah.
No, I won't start that. Hey, cheers, right? Cheers.
I need backup. There's so much here, so there's no reason to like puke it all out at once. I'm just gonna go with, like, because we don't want to get into all the individual game stuff yet. Just from a kind of how are you feeling perspective, like, how's Golden State feeling right now? So again, I don't want to do the whole, oh, this is what I thought and I'm right and I knew it. But
yes, you do.
I honestly, no, meaning the reason I like the Celtics in this series is a lot of like what happened in this game, which is I know Golden State's going to come out and they're going to look pretty and they're going to shoot their threes and everyone's going to go crazy and Steph's going to act cute to the camera. And like they do that and they hit those things and it's demoralizing because it feels like they hit every single open shot. You give them a little sliver and they knock it down. But the Celtics just keep making you work and work and work and work. And for all of this noise about the offense, they still only scored 108 points, So, and that's with shooting lights out. That's a good
with
shooting
Curry
performance.
Doing the Curry thing.
This was a good offensive performance for Golden State, and that's the best they could do. And I think the Celtics were totally out of sync and they weren't communicating well in that first quarter. And that's what resulted in so many freaking wide open looks. They got burned a little on drop coverage and just they did everything wrong. It was like every other one of those series where it's like, wow, like Milwaukee. Celtics did everything wrong, but it's a 4-point game. It's a 7-point game. It's a 3-point game. And yeah, right. The third quarter got away from them. I agree, Jimmy. When it got that far away in the third quarter, you're wondering, what are they going to do here? How are they going to do it?
Yeah,
I can't believe what they did. It was instant. Boom, right out of the gate, fourth quarter, they erased the lead. And then they just took off. Holy wow. And absolutely. And then those Golden State shots stopped falling. They can't all fall. And I'm wondering, you're coming out of this, you're the Warriors. Are you thinking, all right, Boston's not going to shoot that well all series long, so we're okay? Or crap, we gave them everything we had in our absolute best punch, and that's it?
That can't be their best punch, though.
We fell that short at home.
Right. Well, they needed an unbelievable Curry performance, and Curry, doesn't have the Finals MVP. It looked like he was in this game. I mean, especially that first quarter, just. He was there and taught this night, and it can't go that way for this series. The Celtics are too talented on both ends of the court to let one guy. And I know that Giannis did everything he could to get his Bucks to a Game 7, but the Warriors are going to need more. Draymond Green had a tough one tonight. Got nothing going on the offensive end.
He sucks.
Right. I know he's not their offensive juggernaut either. Klay Thompson had a very if that's where you're going to get a Klay Thompson, then the Celtics are going to take that any single day. Wiggins gave him 20. Jordan Poole was tough. And the difference was, John, that fourth quarter, Curry leaves the game, and that the first 5 minutes determined how to go. And like you said, the Celtics stepped on the gas. They just set the tone. They just completely flipped roles with the Warriors, who were doing that to them to start that third quarter. So you got to hand it to them, man. I thought that they had a real chance in this series, because when they aren't clicking, their defense keeps them in games just enough until the offense gets hot again. And, I know we're going to talk about players individually, but man, they were able to win this game with Jason Tatum shooting the way he shot tonight. That's almost like, that's like best case scenario almost in a way. Clearly you obviously want your to play better. Everyone's gonna say, "Oh, he passed the ball really well. He did everything else well." I get it. I watched the game, but the point is, you want your superstar player to hit shots. Everyone, shut up.
Shut up.
You want your superstar player to hit more shots and to take more shots. The guy at one point was passing up shots. He just looked passive out there.
I didn't
Jaylen
get
Brown
it.
Got to give him credit for. I didn't get it either. Jaylen Brown, though, he kind of snapped, kind of got the boys going, and then the rest is history. Derek White was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Al Horford was unbelievable. Yeah. Even Pritchard, got to give it up to the P party. I'm sure Bobby will when he gets on.
Yeah.
Did his job. All these things going off and Tatum not. That's a great thing for the Celtics in this series, because Tatum's gonna come around, and you got to hope that he does.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of days here, shake the jitters off, get the limelight feeling off of you a little bit, and just sort of settle down and just play your game.
Just
the Celtics,
I don't want
the other thing is this: you see the win, now you can believe it. I'm not saying they didn't believe it before, but now they really have something to look at and say, hey, we can take these guys. Screw what Vegas thinks, screw what the national audience thinks, or the national media and all that stuff, because we know that they hear that stuff. Screw them. We believe in each other.
I like you mentioned, and again, we'll get into some individual performances, but you do wonder. I will say this: better than expected off of Rob. I know he had some trouble, there in the drop coverage, and they did try to make him work for it, and they were trying to get him out there on the screens and making him defend the perimeter one-on-one. It was really bad in the beginning, but I thought Rob held up okay in this one. He's still playing into the fourth quarter. He played roughly his minutes limit. Brown catalyst in the fourth quarter. Derek White might have been the guy start to finish. If I'm given an MVP or a Brownie award tonight, I'm giving it to White, mainly because
over Al?
I think
it's very close.
Two things that I loved what Al did. I loved what Smart did. Smart had a great game, I thought.
I did too. I thought Smart was the guy in the first half, definitely.
But the reason I'm giving it to White is because he, because one,
he hit 5 threes.
He hit every friggin' three. But number two, he's the guy who came in. I know Curry sat for the beginning of the second quarter, but he's largely to credit for cooling Curry off, because he did a much better job staying with him in and around those screens. I thought he was terrific. I thought he was terrific there doing that. And then they needed those threes, because it was at times those guys, Allen, whatever, hit a bunch of threes late in the game to seal it and to knock that. Almost every White three was a gotta have it three, where the offense wasn't going well and it swung to him and he just drilled them. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, that one when he kind of leaned into Curry and then stepped back, that was poetry right there. That had to feel good for White, for sure. We all are very well aware of the shooting troubles that he's had at points in his Celtics career here, but tonight, man, it was like throwing the ball into an game. You had to feel good, man. It was just feeling it. So a little confidence. He said before the series starts that everyone wants him to be aggressive. Well, shit, he was aggressive tonight, and it paid off, because they needed him to be. Somebody needed to be aggressive. People were to be aggressive, and it ended up being him. He was the guy that kind of, again, things going there with Jaylen in the fourth, those two guys, and then Al jumped in on the mix. Those three kind of rode them to victory here down the stretch. I'm stunned in a way at the way that the fourth quarter came about. I didn't think
I'm
that it
still
was
stunned. I want to watch.
I'm like a lost.
We're doing the show. I really want to watch it back, because it's like it happened so fast.
Right, that's the thing.
And it's funny. It was like, three. Horford hits a three. They go up. Then it's another one. They're up 6. All of a sudden, it's 11, and it's like, this thing's over.
Yeah.
Like, how did that happen?
Right. It was like 3 minutes left, and you're like, oh,
boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
Oh
right.
my God. So yeah, really
It
impressive
happened
stuff.
quickly.
Really impressive stuff. I'm curious
I
if people in the chat wavered. I know
I
Jimmy
think
admits to.
listen, I'm watching the game with my friends, and they're all Celtics fans, and we've all watched this team this year. It's really hard to predict what's going to happen within a game with this Celtics team. It's hard to predict the series. You just really don't know what you're going to get. But more often than not, the Celtics do find a way to come around and at least make a game out of it. So if you felt that the game wasn't over because the Celtics had one more run in them, that's fair. I'll give you that. I didn't think that they were going to go from down 13 to, I didn't think it was going to be a blowout, but I just found it hard to believe that they were going to be able to keep up offensively with Golden State the way that they were scoring in that third quarter, something like that in the third quarter.
They
So for them to
genotimed them. Sam Hauser's playing.
right, I know. In their own
They
and
genotimed them.
first loss at home for Golden State in the playoffs too. It's not an easy
Oh
place
my goodness gracious.
to win on the road.
That was incredible. You're
Screwed up,
right.
someone just
PP with the
tweeted me.
great.
It was. Can you hear me okay?
You feel okay to me.
All right.
I got you.
It's the way it's going to be. So if it's jumpy, it's jumpy.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just jumpy. I'm probably just
don't move it.
damn. Two
Are you
people
good?
saying.
Yeah. Don't fiddle with it.
I can hear.
Right. We hear you. You're doing great.
All right. Well,
You're doing great. We'll tell everybody. You're fine. So we'll tell everybody at home. We do have a bunch of people in Golden State, in San Francisco, who are going to jump in here.
Us.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, Bobby Manning, Josue Pavone are there covering the game. Sherrod Blakely as well. He's got some other post game obligations, but he's going to try to jump on when he can. But those guys are out there basking in NBA Finals Game 1 as the Celtics beat the Warriors. And as I said, we will get to those guys in a little bit. And we might hear from some of the players too in the post-game commentary as we go. Do want to let people know Yeah, it is nice. I want to let people know. Let me find it. Post-game show is powered by Calm. Do I have the graphic up there? There it is. Number one, sleep, meditation, and wellness app. Get your mind right. Get your body right. Get right with Calm. Go to calm.com/garden. Receive 40% off a Calm premium subscription. We don't need it tonight. We're flying high. I don't want to come down off of this.
Nope.
This is good stuff. Calm. Celtics beat the Warriors. I'm wondering also if people in the chat here, are you amending your is everyone ready to amend their picks already? Are you ready? Are you ready to shorten the series? Celtics in 4, Celtics in 5.
What 7 now? I'm wondering. I had it in 7. I might have to go 3. I don't even know if the Warriors play their 4th game.
I don't even know if Bobby printed our predictions, but I had Celtics in 7, and I baked in 1 or 2 Celtics giveaway games. And that's why it would go 7. I actually thought the Celtics would dictate the pace of these series and the pace of these games more than Golden State would. And I don't know if they did tonight. I don't know if that's exactly what happened. I think the Celtics shot really well, hung in there, didn't allow Golden State to kind of, they had them on the ropes a little, but they never put them out. Yeah, go ahead.
Log off and on for 2 seconds. Give me a second here.
Okay. I'll let Jimmy do that. We still have, let's go through here, still have Celtics in 7. I'm not calm. I'm fired up, dude. I am curious what everyone else is thinking here, just in terms of this one, because Jimmy, are you gonna leave? How am I gonna miss you if you never go? Did he go? He might have gone. All right, whatever. We'll filibuster here until Jimmy jumps back in here. Celtics win this one. I'm still stunned by this. I really don't. I really just can't believe what happened late in the game here. It's like, I mean, and again, we talk about narratives here. We'll get in on Tatum in a little bit, but this was turning into like, is Jason going to show up sort of game? Didn't matter. It's amazing that the Celtics won this one without Tatum doing anything, and he looked completely lost in the game, and it didn't make a difference. You got amazing performances again, as we said, out of Horford, out of Derek White, out of Jaylen Brown, and I'm still just not hugely surprised. I think it comes down to, and we don't want to overreact just to one game, but my real vibe was I'm not fully buying everything that the Warriors do. I know they do it in streaks and splashes, and it looks good, and they can get hot, and that they're streaky, and that's what it is. But I just don't see them doing it for an entire game against the Celtics. I mean, I know that they can, and I know that they're capable of it. And this felt like one of those games where, oh, geez, are they ever going to miss? And it felt like they didn't really miss. And it still was a game that the Celtics were able to hold them to 108 points on, whatever. Again, really solid, 3-point shooting numbers, 44% overall from the field, 42% from three. But again, it's one of those things where, yeah, Curry's going to get his. Curry's going to go off. He gets 21 in the first quarter and, yeah, relatively in check the rest of the way. And then nobody else there. I just don't think that those guys are going to be able to do things against the Celtics defense. Yes, they're going to swing and they're going to get open threes, and you're going to get those guys coming in on the backdoor cuts, which they do, and they get a lot of actions there, and they did get some layups. I mean, look at the offensive and the second chance points. I don't even remember what the final number was, but Looney alone, I think I saw somebody, Looney's first 5 offensive rebounds resulted in 10 Golden State points. Those are just gimmies. You can eliminate those things super easy. And again, you just play a little bit tighter on Curry, and they don't make the mistakes they made in that first quarter where they just have to kind of level up and play him up on those screens and just not drop there and just stay level. And they were doing it better late in the game. You prevent that from happening, he's going to get his. He's going to do crazy stuff. He just needs a little bit of daylight. You're never going to shut him out, but you're just got to prevent him from going off. Beyond that, I don't think Clay's generating his offense there on his own against this Celtics defense. He'll hit some open shots, and he hit a couple tough shots today. I just don't think he's a threat to go bananas. And we're going to try Jimmy again here to go completely off on you. And I don't really think anybody else on that team is. Jimmy, you back?
I hope so.
Yeah, I was just kind of saying my general vibe on Golden State is, again, I respect the hell out of Curry, and I know they have a lot of guys who can score in bunches and they get things rolling from time to time. I just don't think the rest of the Warriors can do that against the Celtics defense. I think, especially, I also think the Celtics they weren't prepared for it right out of the gate. And that's one of the reasons why it got ugly. It looked so ugly early. I think now that they've seen it, I actually think it's more likely that the Celtics are going to come out more prepared for what Golden State brings, rather than the Warriors coming back with a big bounce back in game 2. Again, if I'm Golden State, I'm pretty worried right now.
Listen, I'm worried as well, and I didn't get to listen to your points originally because I was trying to reset. But
overrated. That's what I'm saying. Golden State's overrated. Sure. We made them out to be a monster, and I think they're good. I don't think they're great. And again, we talked about this in the preview show, Jimmy. What's the more dominant for you? And I are both offense over defense people, big time. But the Celtics defense is generationally dominant, and this is a really good Warriors offense. So again, It's not just like, Patriots have a pretty good D this year. Can they hold? No, it's like 85 Bears. It's like, the Ravens. It is a ridiculous defense. I think it's going to be really hard for Golden State this series.
It will be. And I mean, you saw at points that when Golden State's players are on, and I'm talking about Curry, and obviously Clay had a couple of big shots. The saying good offense always beats good defense is true when both are at their greatest.
Yeah.
But right now, the Celtics defense is playing at another level higher than what the Warriors offense is playing at. So therefore, you said this a little bit earlier in the show, John, it almost felt like in those Bucks series, right? When the Bucks almost they give you their best shot, and then the Celtics are only down 5 or 6. And then the Celtics start to wake up a little bit, and now all of a sudden they pull ahead and they kind of do their thing. Kind of felt like that's what that second half was at points. I guess I should say that fourth quarter. But go back to the first quarter when Curry was doing it all and the Celtics were only down by a couple. And then at halftime, they're actually up at halftime. So it kind of felt like, wow, the Warriors are kind of pulling everything that they have at the Celtics right now, and they're hanging right in there with them. Now that third quarter was different because they went on that. The Warriors did their thing. But again, the Celtics come back in. They sort of reset. They start to play a little bit more aggressive. They're not back on their heels, letting the Warriors dictate the offense. One thing we haven't talked about that was so damn frustrating, I will admit, is the second chance points that the Warriors were able to get.
I mentioned briefly, you gave them a bunch of stuff there, you had a Curry goes off game and you gave him a bunch of freebies, and it didn't matter.
It didn't. I mean, it mattered in that moment because they were so like it was just so like deflating and frustrating to actually play the solid defense that you were. And then Kevin Looney is
Sure.
going around, grabbing these offensive boards like crazy and all this stuff. But again, the Celtics come back, they play their game. It's a team. The reason why they've gotten to where they are is because they've been playing team basketball. It
Yeah.
seems like it's a different player stepping
Right.
up on any given night right now.
So let's not make the excuse for Tatum. Tatum looked a little bit lost. He didn't know too often. I didn't understand what he was doing offensively. Even when he had the mismatches on Curry, instead of just going up and over him, he was kind of being cute, hunting for fouls. I don't know, not being decisive, not attacking quickly. And then he was off. He couldn't get it going from the outside either. Just a game where he just couldn't get it, but he was passing well. I'm not going to be
Right.
that guy who says, "Oh, basketball's about so much more than scoring." Of course it is, but Tatum's supposed to score a lot of points. However, he was moving it. Not only did he get assists, he got secondary assists. At the end of the day, that's how they hit all of those threes. They were swinging to open shooters. They knocked him down. 33 assists is a ridiculous number. They're going to win every single game when they have a number that high. But from an individual perspective, it is impossible not to look at Jaylen Brown and say he saved their ass there in the fourth, because you needed somebody to kind of wake them up. And you needed somebody to do the individual thing instead of just kind of like, you can't rely. It's nice when they do it late, or it's nice when they do it in spots, but in big moments, you can't rely on your secondary guys to be the primary offensive, to carry the offense. You can't just keep swinging it for Horford and White threes and expect that you're going to go punch for punch with the Warriors. Your big dogs have to step up. And both Tatum and Brown were shooting poorly heading into the fourth, and then just Brown went friggin' nuclear there.
He did. You know what he did? He would do the pull up from like the mid-range game. That's his game.
I love that.
That's his game.
I love that. I want that.
Jumper.
I want those.
When he doesn't do that, and instead he just goes like head down to the basket, bad things tend to happen. Turnovers. He leaves his feet, and now he's going to throw the ball away. Like, do that thing that you do really well that pretty much works all the time. And he did that in the fourth quarter. He started to get into his little comfort zone there, and they were giving it to him. I think Jaylen Brown, when he goes into athletic Jaylen Brown mode and doesn't think as much, or maybe he doesn't think, maybe he thinks too much sometimes, one or the other. When he just relies on his bread and butter, which to me is that dribble drive, step back from like the elbow, like you said, or like right around that 15-foot area, 18-foot. That's the chef kiss. That's what I want to see from Jaylen Brown, and that's what we got. And that changed the game.
Yeah. So completely changed the game. And again, we've been over this, and again, you and I are in agreement on this one. Like, I like mid-range. Mid-range is sexy because to me, a good shot is a good shot.
Well, you're a boomer.
Shot. But it's not that. It's a good shot is a good shot.
Right. No, I agree with you.
What's bad is forcing your way into the paint because your coach told you can only take threes or layups and turning the ball over and getting offensive fouls.
Right.
What's good is being 6'7", super athletic, being guarded by a 6'3" guy and being able to jump right over the top of him and hit a free throw, elbow jumper or jumper from the free throw line. Those are going to go in 65% of the time. It's not a bad shot. That's not a long contested two. I don't care what the analytics say. That's a good shot.
It's a good shot.
And Jaylen breaks the mold because he makes that at a higher clip and probably more efficiently than anybody in the NBA over the last couple of years. It's what he does.
Don't look that up. It's fact.
It's great when he's cooking. Like the 538 did a big spread on Jaylen Brown is the best bad shooter in basketball, meaning best at taking bad shots.
Sure.
Because nobody wants
it actually checks out because how many
nobody wants you to take those shots, and he's friggin' incredible at them.
Yeah. Yeah, screw this. Screw what the analytics say about where you should take the shots, corner threes and under the hoop. You know what I mean? If you're open, if you've got the look, if you're feeling it from that spot, please do. Please do. Because guess what? Defenders are now being taught to defend against those two areas. So that all of a sudden there's this big void in that 15-18 range that he's being able to find.
I got to say, guys, I do have to say, and again, we've got a few more people joining the show, but we have definitely a record crowd in terms of at one time. We'll see over the total value.
What do we got? I
We're over
logged out.
we're about 3,700 between our two YouTube channels
Go,
right
baby.
now. Those of you new to this show, I just want to say welcome to the CLNS Media Celtics postgame show. John Zanis, Jimmy Toscano, cheers to you all for a Game 1 victory. We have multiple reporters in San Francisco. They're going to join us in a little bit, give us some of the flavor from down there. Bobby Manning, Josue Pavone, Sherrod Blakely, all covering the game in San Fran, and they'll be jumping on the show in a little. If it's your first time ever and you're just kind of sauntering over to this channel, please give us a like, subscribe, smash that subscribe, hit that little bell for notifications. We go live a lot after every single game, and we'll be doing it every night throughout the entire NBA Finals, which are going to be pretty short because this thing is over in 4.
Yeah, what do we
Jimmy.
got? Yeah, what do we got?
Which is good because I could use a break.
Wednesday, Friday. Yeah,
that's it. Okay. Done. Done. We're done.
I'm tired, man. It's been.
I'm tired.
It's been a long. Feels like 3 seasons worth. There's short off season over because of COVID and stuff. But yeah, hey, it's all worth it to be one of 2 teams in the NBA Finals. It doesn't. Being a Celtics fan right now, it does not get better than that. So, and
it's good.
Warriors fan close second, but you're not feeling good.
I don't think you're feeling good right now.
You're not feeling good after what you saw tonight at home with a lead. Everything he had, well, not everything. He gave you a lot. I mean, you could ask for. They adjusted to him, and man, when he left that game in that fourth quarter to start the fourth quarter, they got to be thinking twice about that now. That typical in the beginning of the fourth quarter, man, that may have been the game right there. That could have been a Kirk.
That's
Kirk kicking himself. I know, but
that's the rotation.
All hands on. It's different now, John. You got to do what you got to do. If he has to go an extra 5 minutes, then you might have to go an extra 5 minutes here.
It looks like he's trying to get in, but can you see a picture on Sherrod yet? I can't see him. I see he's trying to get in here.
So I'll be honest.
He's calling me.
I logged in with the guests. I'm not logged in.
I see Sherrod in the box, but I don't see the camera. I'm going to put him on here. I think I got him.
There we go.
I can hear. Yeah. There he is. Oh, he's looking damn good. Okay? What you mean?
He's looking damn good.
You're looking like we went from Miami Sherrod to Cali Sherrod.
I'm looking like Al Horford in the fourth quarter. Good. That's how good I'm looking tonight.
Yeah, you are, man. I don't want to get caught. I don't want to get lost in those eyes, but damn.
You obviously talk about Al, not me. I know.
Yeah.
What a game, yo! Yeah. What a game.
Yeah, Sherrod. So I want to ask your opinion because we couldn't. It happened so fast; it's almost hard to process. I was saying to Jimmy, I want to go back and watch it back, possession by possession, and see. But it was obviously you had the spurt at the beginning of this fourth quarter. You had Jaylen Brown doing Jaylen Brown things when they needed it, and then bang, 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 a bunch of threes, and the ball game was over. Marcus finally got his dagger after 5 attempts of it in Miami. He finally got his dagger 3.
Keep shooting, man. Keep
shooting them.
No, the thing that jumps out to me about just that fourth quarter barrage was that basically Golden State had been daring Derek White, Marcus Smart to shoot the ball all game. And you know as well as I do, if you keep daring a team to do one thing, and it's something that they've already done before, at some point you just might get burned by that. Now, they could get those same shots in game 2 and miss 40, 50, 60% of it and lose by 20. I wouldn't shock me at all. But in this game, the Celtics' ability to keep the game relatively close most of the game when I felt Golden State was just playing better basketball, but the Celtics were still right in it. And you felt if the Celtics could just get like 5 really good minutes of basketball, they could come out and steal this game. And I didn't think they would get it because, again, they didn't really show any kind of rhythm until that barrage of threes in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting to me is like, we'll get a soundbite in a second from it, but Udoka talked about this. It wasn't their best game, and that's the type of thing where like the better teams are the ones that don't play their best games and win. Right. Usually not the scrappy underdog. It starts to make you wonder: are we looking at these teams the wrong way? Like, are the Celtics actually the dominant team that if they play their A game would be tougher to beat than if Golden State plays its A game? Because the Warriors did play close to not everything, but they played a really good offensive game, and then they ran out of gas. They got
Yeah, I mean, I think the most if there's one individual you would want to
Bonds.
focus on who was just kind of a microcosm of what we saw was Steph Curry. Had 21 points in the first quarter. I think he had 13 the rest of the game. And so I mean, clearly, the ability to minimize his impact was just a domino effect on the rest of the team. I mean, in the fourth quarter, to me, the white flag was thrown up when you start seeing Draymond raise up for threes. They were that desperate to get some type of offense going in the fourth quarter to just try to limit or combat what the Celtics were able to do, and they just weren't able to do it. This is one of those games where if you're Golden State, I mean, you're better than what you showed down the stretch. You know that. But Tatum goes 3 for what, 17, I think it was? Yeah, 3 for 17.
We don't talk about that.
But here's the thing. He goes 3 for 17, and they win by double digits. That doesn't happen.
Right.
I can't imagine Steph Curry going 3 for 17 and Golden State wins by 10, 15, unless you had one guy that had an amazingly awesome game like Clay or someone. But you had Marcus Smart, you had Derek White, you had Al Horford. I mean, Peyton Pritchard, I thought, gave him some good minutes as well. You start going down the line, and they had basically 4 or 5 guys that just kind of basically they gave you a cut here, a cut there, a slit here, and next thing you know, Golden State is bleeding and can't and just dies. They just did not have anything to combat what Boston was able to deliver in the fourth quarter, which is very unusual to say the least when you talk about Golden State.
We lost John just like that. Look at that, Sherrod. Can you hear me?
Trying to find that. I can hear you loud and clear.
All right,
but,
cool. People are saying my audio sucks.
Well, that's at least they're limited to the audio, Jimmy, because they can say so many other things about you. So
they could.
Let's just be thankful that they're just focusing on the audio.
Yeah,
right?
Focus on the audio only.
There you go. No, but this was an amazing victory for the Celtics, and certainly the biggest thing that it does, I think, for them is it plants a seed of confidence that they don't have to play great to win this series. That's the thing that jumps out to me. And if you're Golden State, I mean, look. If anyone thinks that this is going to have an impact on Golden State's confidence in the series, you don't know Golden State. They're going to look at this and just say it's just one of those games. I mean, at the very end of the game, I don't know I'm pretty sure you guys didn't hear it, but they were playing on to the next one, a Swiss Beat song, and that's the mindset that they have. This was a bad loss. They're on to the next one. They're focused on.
They got no choice.
But I get it. I get it from Golden State's perspective because you can easily say, like, Celtics aren't going to shoot 50% from three in another game. And so, yeah, this is one of those where, again, it's easy to kind of get your beer muscles here if you're the Celtics, feel overconfident. And, yeah, it's a make-miss league. We get it. But that's a big deal. You have teams that intentionally strategize to get the ball in the hands of Smart, White, Horford, and make them shoot threes and try to not let Tatum and Brown beat you. That's your recipe to win. You did that and you lost, which is a bit demoralizing, but I don't think you're expecting Derek White to hit all of his threes again, Horford to hit 6 threes. That seems unsustainable. However, you also don't expect Jason Tatum to have such a miserable game. And all of these things to happen, and Kevin Looney to get 6 offensive rebounds and all of your second putback points, and Steph Curry to get 21 points in the first quarter. Like, all of those things are somewhat anomalies. So again, I do think it balances out some. I also think the one thing that the Celtics have, or the benefit, that they have now, is they might not have been ready for this. It's like you step into the boxing ring and you haven't fought in a while, or you're not sure what your opponent's going to give you, and you're like, holy wow, this guy's fast. It takes you a round or two to realize what's going on. I don't think they were ready for it. They were clearly, miscommunicating on those screens with Curry, leaving people wide open, just out of sync. Now that I think that they've seen it, I don't think they're going to struggle as much. Golden State's still going to get theirs. I just don't think they're going to be as wide open on as many of the 3 attempts as they were in this game. I mean, some of them were ridiculous. Celtics don't give up that many open 3-pointers in a series, alone a game.
Right. And I think, for them, the start of the game, they looked like a team that had never been in a game of this magnitude before. That they didn't really understand until they actually literally had to go through it. This is not game 81 or game 21 or even a second round playoff series, game 2 or 3. This is the freaking NBA Finals. There's a different level that you have to step your game up to, not only in terms of physical play, but also just mentally. And I don't think they were there. And the mistakes that they were making early on, those are mental mistakes. I mean, there are 5 guys on the court for Golden State at one time, and the one guy you should never, ever, ever leave open was Steph Curry, who was open multiple times in the first quarter. So, and I thought that more than anything, it was
I know,
they're
but
just having mental gaps, and you can't do that and expect to win. And they were fortunate that they were able to make the adjustments and limit that from the second quarter going forward.
you can't. But Golden State also is a team that suffers from self-inflicted wounds, and they're a team that turns it over. Neither team had a super high turnover number today.
Right.
14 for Golden State, 12 for the Celtics. But even late in that fourth quarter, when the Celtics took the lead with a 3-pointer and Golden State calls a timeout, what happens off of that timeout? They turn the ball over. The Celtics go the other way, and they hit a three, which I tweeted at the time was the most Celtics thing ever.
Yeah,
right. But Golden State did it to themselves, so it's nice to see somebody that does some of the stuff you do too, and gifts you some points and some opportunity.
It felt like a flashback to the Miami series. Remember
Yeah.
they already called the timeout and Tatum turned it over like back-to-back possessions, and we're thinking like, what the
right off a timeout.
right.
So again, I don't think the Celtics played clean. Here's Ime Udoka. I'm going to try to play a soundbite here from Ime talking about the Celtics' performance.
It's confidence builder because we didn't play our best at all. Obviously, Jason didn't play his best, but every time we looked up, 32-28 after the first quarter, only down 4 at halftime, and we hadn't played well at all. And so they finally stretched the lead a little bit to get us to 92-80 going to the fourth, but we had a huge quarter there. So knowing what we do defensively, if we're a little more tuned in, lack of communication in the first half, I think obviously shows the blueprint for what we can do there. I think getting those opening night jitters out, and I think that settled some as the game went on. And you saw other guys step up, but we don't expect JT to have a tough shooting night like that again. I don't know if you attribute it to jitters or some of the defense they were throwing at him, box and one in some of those zones, but shows what we are, which is a team.
Yeah. Box and one, that's what they used to use on Xanis back in my 12, 13, 14-year-old days,
Yeah, right.
You got a box and one. Got a box and one on Xanis. Can't let him go. You can't let him get free. What year? Well, how old are we?
Make him go left.
Box and one. We're 12 years old?
Was that a little was Ime's shot? Was that a shot at Kerr by Ime? Maybe a little like elementary style defense.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That's what Steve does. I mean, and I say that with
they have to when they go small.
Well, the thing that I've always liked about Steve Kerr is that when he's trying different things offensively and defensively, he's not afraid to try something that's unconventional. He's not afraid to do something that some people might just kind of cringe at, like, wait a minute, boxing one? What the hell? This is the NBA. You've got da. He doesn't care. He thinks that can help them win, and I've always respected that. But again, if you can play this type of defense and Tatum goes 3 for 17, if he does that every single game, the law of averages says you're going to win more times than not. You can't count on Al Horford giving you 6 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, or in the game for that matter. It just doesn't work out that way. So if you're Golden State, you're disappointed you obviously lost, but you got some ideas on things that you saw worked that you're probably going to try to do again in game 2.
So let me ask you that. Who can play better how in game 2? Because I do think the Celtics can play far better defensively. I am worried offensively. Again, they're not going to knock down as many shots, but I also think, like I said, those jitters and whatever it was that Tatum was going through, I think will go away as well. But I do think the Celtics can get better defensively. What do you think? What can Golden State do better?
Golden State, I think they need better balance offensively. I mean, early on it was the Steph Curry show, and then things they weren't able to fill that void when he wasn't making shots. And they need Jordan Poole, for example, to play more like the Jordan Poole we saw during the regular season. He had 9 points, none of which were impactful. And Otto Porter, I thought, gave him a nice lift. Defensively, they like what they get out of the Peyton kid, but he wasn't. I didn't think he was as impactful defensively. And to his credit, it's been several weeks since he played, since he broke his elbow. This was his first game back in seemed like forever.
He didn't do shit.
No. So there's several players for Golden State that can absolutely play better. We've seen play better. For the Celtics, I think for them, it's just continuing to weather the storm. Golden State's going to play better, and you may find yourself in a deeper ditch than you found yourself in game 1. Understanding that you can dig yourself out of that is huge confidence booster for the Celtics, knowing that whether they get down early or not, they can find a way to come back and win and they certainly obviously did that in game one here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Warriors, tons of your guys can play better. I mean, Draymond Green had a horrible game. I mean, he was pretty non-existent.
because he's horrible.
Yeah, right. So
At least scoring the ball.
Scoring wise, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's what I mean.
He's not. They know what they're doing with him. They're like, yeah, you do whatever you want over there. Stand there all you want with the ball. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
You play 20 feet off Draymond. You beg him to shoot.
But
Yeah,
even when he's not that far from the rim and he's got a smaller guy on him, he's still looking to pass the ball, which I thought there were at least 4 or 5 possessions where he had a significantly smaller guy on him that he should have just bully balled that guy and went for a layup. But instead, he's swinging the ball out, trying to get guys 3-point shots. And I get it, but at the same time, it's all about matchups. And if you're 6'9", 260, and you got a 6'5" guard on you, bully his ass. You beast his ass in the post. You don't swing it out to your 6'3" guard who's being defended by a guy who's 6'9".
Right.
So.
And Poole's got to be the guy that gives them something, off the bench, because it doesn't look like Clay is 100. Obviously, he's not 100%, but he's just not the same Clay. 15 points from Clay tonight. Missed a couple of big shots that he could have had, 3-point shots. And Poole just wasn't that boost that they've had this year. That's been like that offense that they've just desperately needed. Curry can't do it all, man. I mean, he gave him the best start you could ask for. He ended up with 34. But they need more, and the Celtics have been able to find production elsewhere when a guy like Tatum, for example, isn't on his game, or if Brown isn't on his game. They've been able to dig in other places. Tonight, we talked about it. White had his game. Horford had his game. Smart came in with some big shots in the first half. The Warriors just don't seem to have that going on with them right now.
But this is what we talked about we talked about it on the preview show. This is where I believe the Celtics have the advantage. The Celtics 1 through 8, assuming Rob is healthy, don't have those are their 8 best defensive and offensive guys.
Right.
With the exception of maybe Pritchard is the only one who comes on there, and he doesn't kill you, and he is playable in this series against the smaller guards, and he played well tonight. So you can put Pritchard out there and feel okay about it, and not that he's going to be whatever necessarily hunted, but almost everybody, most of the Celtics rotational players are their best offensive and defensive players. Golden State has to choose, what do they want to be right now? Who do they want to be? Who do they want to play? What's most important to them? Do we want to try to stop them, or do we want to try to score? And so when you put out that Poole and Porter lineup, or you have, with Curry out there, that's your more offensive lineup. But if Poole's a -19, Porter's a -18, despite the fact that Porter made 4 of 5 threes. Those guys hurt you, because they can't keep up on the other end of the floor. So they're specialists, and it just creates problems and mismatches and allows teams to go on runs against them where they just can't. So that's a problem there. That problem when they go big. If you have Draymond and Looney out there, obviously you've got a little bit more of a spacing problem. And again, if the Celtics were a little bit better off of those screens and those pin downs and just played them a little bit cleaner and weren't getting those bigs caught and drop coverage off of Steph there, you can defend that you can defend that better than you did last time. So Golden State's got to kind of decide. I think Kerr's going to be playing with. Like Bud did in the Milwaukee series, he couldn't decide, do I want to go big or small, or what guys do I want to play with my stars? I think Kerr's going to be having that problem all series long, trying to figure out which lineups to use and which times against which players the Celtics have out there, and that's where I always give the edge to the Celtics. They have to worry less about who they put out there.
Yeah, and the one of the things that jumped. Good point, really good point. Spacing. You brought up spacing, and I thought in this game one, dramatically different spacing for the Celtics compared to what they were getting against the Heat. When Bam Adebayo said no screens, those shooters from Miami had plenty of airspace to operate. That's not happening in this series. The screens aren't nearly as debilitating as they were in that Miami Heat series. And so guys offensively are getting better looks. I think a lot of that's why they had so many guys that were able to score because they're getting freer more often, more consistently. And that's going to be – I don't know how Golden State can remedy that. I mean, you can do things with Tatum, but are you going to run – I mean, you can't run a boxing one on everyone that plays for the Celtics. They just can't do it. I'm not sure how they're going to handle the others besides Tatum.
Facts, my dog.
Facts, my dog. No, you're right, Sherrod. That's going to be interesting there, all series long for them, trying to figure out how they're going to play it. And you're right. Like, I know Ime wasn't throwing shade there, but I mean, when you're a team like the Celtics that plays that plays the type of defense they do, you know who plays zone. Zone is the teams that can't play defense, or they just don't have the guys to match up. You play zone to hide weak defensive players, and that's what you're trying to do there, obviously. So you're in those Curry lineups. That's one of the things they're trying to do. We're going to try to sneak on Josue Pavone as well.
Let's go.
Friggin' Josue. San
NBA
Fran
Finals
style.
edition.
What do we got? Yes.
What's going on, guys? Are you not entertained or what? What a game one matchup, man.
Looking golden out there, baby.
Hey, I'm shining out here.
Josue with the halo.
Yeah, bro. You've been doing something right out there.
Josue's been awake for like for like 38 hours right now.
Yeah, seriously.
Hey, at least the Celtics woke me up, man. In that fourth quarter, man. Listen, we've been talking about this for months, right? What team shows up after halftime? And that was the team that we were afraid were going to show up. But man, did they respond in that fourth quarter? The defense, but also some timely shots, some shots that, quite frankly, took, like it took. These guys had cojones out there, man. Like between Al Horford making those three, between
Huevos.
Huevos, yeah, that's the more accurate way to put it. Seriously, man. Like, listen, these are shots that you're just not gonna see.
Well, Sam Cassell.
Sam Cassell.
Listen. The last, yeah, right. Remember, he got fined for that. Remember that? Listen,
we
this
might
is 3 games
too.
in a row now with Derek White. This is, yeah, right. This is what the Celtics needed for someone like Derek White, and for him to do that with Al Horford combined, man, like Jaylen Brown taking things, taking matters to his own hands. Like, listen, this is what the NBA Finals is about: putting out the best version of yourself. And although Steph Curry did that in the first quarter, that didn't slow down the Celtics. Okay, they stayed focused, they stayed with it, they survived those runs. It's exactly what we were talking about going up against a team like the Golden State Warriors. They're gonna get those runs, they're gonna go off, they're gonna build a 12, 13, 14-point lead, but you have to stay with it. And the Celtics, that's just been the story of this team, the identity of this team since they turned this thing around, back in January. But man, on the grand stage in game one, I got to hand it to them because I wasn't quite sure if they would. Listen, Bobby and I talked about this in the last segment that we did together. And I said, look, these guys aren't afraid of the moment. I don't think that's the case. But it's another thing when it's the NBA Finals against a team like this, the Golden State Warriors, and when they're really hot and when they're rolling, like it's tough to come back and show that resilience. But man, they showed that fight in the second half. Yeah. That was incredible, man.
You know what the Celtics have now?
Very impressed.
You know what the Celtics have now, Josue? Finals experience.
Yes,
there it is.
All of them.
We can end that narrative now, right?
Finals experience.
That game goes a long way for every single one of these Celtics players, including Al Horford, who's breaking records, of course, from behind the arc. What did I say about Al Horford? Well, maybe it was actually, it was the Cedric Maxwell podcast that I said this on. But
wow, you're
Draymond doesn't want to chase him out there. These guys don't think Al has it like that. They'll let a couple go down, but they don't expect him to continue. Man, he made them pay, especially in that fourth quarter, while the Celtics' defense held the Golden State Warriors to 13 points in the NBA Finals, man. It's incredible. Like, we already knew this is the best defense in the NBA, but to do it up against this team on this stage, it speaks volumes, especially when their best player in Jason Tatum wasn't having an absolute stellar game out there. But he was the playmaker, though. He was still being effective out there, even though his shot wasn't falling. That's exactly what you can ask for. That's all you can ask for, really. And that's exactly the Tatum you want to see when he's not able to get his offense going.
To the uninitiated, if you were to tune in and watch this game, you'd think, the really good team wasn't really into it for the first little bit. And then when they decided to step on the gas, they just blew away the team that's not as good as them. That's the kind of, like, we know that's not necessarily the case, but when you just come out there and say, nah, all set, we're going to take this one over, from what they did from the start of the fourth quarter all the way until Sam Hauser checked into the game, was just complete domination on both ends of the court. Annihilation. I don't think Golden State knows what hit him. We were looking at some of the Kerr comments in the postgame, and he was just like, I have no idea what just happened to us there. I got a little. I might get a little.
That. You might get
he was unreal.
Oh, you're gonna get emotional for a second. It's all right, John.
No, I had a gas. I'm going to bring in.
Draymond said that.
I had a burp. I was going to bring in. What did he say?
No, he just said they're not really
good,
concerned
Jimmy.
about it. Not concerned about it. They,
I got it right here. I'm gonna play it. Ready?
Yeah, you rather watch it. Yeah, go for it.
Hold on. I'm gonna load a Draymond clip here.
Jimmy, what do you
I
say?
think
though?
personally, I
what's he
sound
gonna
better than
say?
Draymond, but you can listen to him say it. It's fine.
It's loading slowly.
What's the percentage?
I don't know. Let's put it in there. Draymond.
All right. What about that second unit though? How about Derek
No,
White?
shut
How
up.
about
Here he
them
comes.
Shut up,
second
Just
unit?
like. Just like we don't want to hear you. Shut up, Just like. Shut up.
No, I
We'll
can't
see.
stand
We'll
that
figure
talk.
it out. Watch some film, but they have guys that put pressure on the rim, so you're gonna have to rotate and help, and we'll have to figure out where our next rotation is coming from and do it. But
And do it.
they hit 21 threes, and Marcus Smart, Al Horford, and Derek White combined for 15 of them. So those guys are good shooters.
There it is.
They combined for
Throw some shade.
15 out of 8.
I love Draymond.
7, 8.
Not a believer.
15 for 20.
Doing some math
Math
here.
right?
Sounds like me.
8, 7, and 8. 8, 7, and 8.
Sounds like
that's
someone
23,
salty.
right? Yeah. 15 for
Sounds like
23
me and
for
John
those
trying to
guys.
figure out
Yeah.
how many
so
wins they need.
be fine.
7. Carry the 2, and then
But
you.
look, he's saying
one
what
thing I
we're
was gonna
saying.
say, he
He's
also
flat out
said-
saying it. Those freaking guys aren't hitting those many threes again. They won because these guys hit way more shots than you'd ever expect them to hit.
Yeah.
Okay, and Tatum hit
he's
way
right,
less.
though. He's
And Tatum
right.
hit way less.
Yeah,
So,
but that doesn't
again,
explain their shortcomings in the fourth quarter though. Like, I don't know. I feel like he's just trying to say, "Oh, this is all about these guys just getting lucky
He's reaching.
from behind the yard." Yeah,
He's
he's
reaching.
reaching. Absolutely, but like,
Tell him,
where was your
Josue.
response? Where was your response in that when the Celtics were stringing together stops? Like, you couldn't stop
His
the bleeding.
response was a jacket 3. That
Right.
we all knew
Exactly.
the minute it left his hands had no shot of going in. No
His
chance
response was to be underneath the rim when Rob threw down that alley-oop and flexed on him. And that's what
His
his response
response
was.
in a word,
Shout out to Jalen with the pass too.
trash.
That was it. That was during the Jalen run. And Jalen, right before that, Rob looked like he was laboring to me, and I was like, "This might be about time to get Rob." It was that time in the game where he kind of powers down, and that knee just starts barking, and his trips back and forth were getting a little slower, and he was barely making it back. And then he got up the court on that one, and Jalen found him, and he threw it down. Flexed on Draymond, who just sat there like this and just kind of walked to the sideline.
He took it.
He took it. That was a nice moment.
Draymond also said they pretty much dominated for the first 42 minutes of the game. So I don't know.
His math is really bad. I don't know about that.
You know they were. You were losing at the half, right? You were losing at the half.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
I don't know.
Dominated. I don't know if that's the
Golden
word.
State played like a front runner for most of the game. They were, and they understandably so. I mean, Steph comes out, drops 21 in the first quarter. If you're Golden State, you're feeling like we got this. And what I couldn't understand was
they had a Celtics game.
Yeah,
they had a bad Celtics game.
Yeah, third quarter, it seemed as though it was game time correction, if you will. That it was back to the way they thought it would be, and they did. John, to your point, they did exactly what we've seen the Celtics do all the time: get control of the game, kick back, kick the shoes off, get you a bottle of Merlot. And then forget that there's like 7-8 minutes left to play.
This Golden State performance was the Celtics fans' worst nightmare of what they've seen their team do.
Golden State pulled a Celtic.
They pulled the Celtics. They pulled the bad Celtics.
Yeah, if any Warriors fans are in the show, DMs of the Celtics fans are open. You guys can slide in, ask any questions you want. We got all the answers for you. We can get you through this tough time. Promise you, it gets better. Don't know if it's going to get better this series, but it'll get better someday.
Jimmy loves DMs. Loves it.
He does.
Pointing it out.
No, I don't want the DMs. I'm talking about Celtics fans. I don't need any more DMs.
Yeah,
Josue's DMs are open, though.
Jimmy's a little more comfortable than I think he should be with the whole slide into DMs conversation.
Slide into my DMs. No, I don't want them. I'm
no.
saying
My favorite.
if there's
my favorite
Warriors
was
fans out there, they
someone-
want to talk to the Celtics fans about it. The Celtics fans can get them through these tough
You
times.
seem pretty damn comfortable with being slim. But anyway, we'll move on to something.
No. Hold on 1 second. My
Gotta
favorite
feel my
was
day.
Joseph,
someone
hold up.
commented. Yeah, hold on. One more comment. Someone commented that they couldn't DM me because my thing they weren't open. Jimmy just lost. He goes, "Why would you ever close your DM?" Like you were so.
Yeah, dude. That's
you were
that's just being a pro,
adamant,
man.
Like why would
Jimmy's
you
like, my
not
DMs are
receive-
always open. I don't know why
Yeah, I
anyone would
always
close.
get
Couldn't
my
be more
messages.
open. Couldn't be more open. Always out there,
Like,
lend a helping
Yeah,
hand or
so-
a word.
I want to address the Draymond comments again, because that's definitely some sour grapes there, and that's
Totally.
a lot of
Salty.
Oh, yeah.
obvious backhanded compliments to the Celtics who hit the threes where he doesn't believe it's sustainable, and he's right. You're not going to get that level of percentage off of the Celtics, of course, but the dominated for 42 minutes. Get GT, get
That's what I was trying to read earlier.
get out of here. Are you nuts? Like, it was, again, a tie game. Golden State won the third. Celtics resoundingly won the fourth. And I believe, and again, what I thought would happen in the series, it's again, the game is a little microcosm of it. I think the Celtics wear you down because you have to keep bringing it, and it's hard. And once they really put the clamps and they make you work for those, and they're communicating, and you're getting the switches, and you're not getting those little slivers of daylight, and there's not breakdowns, it's harder, and the shots just fall with less frequency, and they're tougher, and they're big, and they're physical. And by the end of it, Golden State wasn't even running anymore. They were just beaten. They completely took the life out of them. So to be riding that high after three, and then just to completely just give up, they were toast. The Celtics absolutely just beat them into submission.
Yeah, but that's how this Warriors team is. Like, this isn't the same team that we saw 3-4 years ago.
Front runners,
guy coming off the bench and contribute. I mean, listen, they have weapons like that, but they're also vulnerable. And I think that we got a big. I think that they were exposed in a big way in that series against the Memphis Grizzlies. Granted, of course, they did win the series. However, that blowout game and a couple other games throughout that series where you saw them just completely, that offense just runs dry. And if you can put together stops, if you can continue with that aggressive, but again, it has to be throughout. Yes, they're going to go on their runs. You have to survive those. You have to continue to keep fighting, especially in the second half. But they turn the ball over at an incredible rate that we've never seen a Warriors team like this. In comparison to who they used to be and the team that were winning championships, it doesn't even come close. And the Celtics have to continue to capitalize on that. They have to look how vulnerable they are in certain stretches throughout the game. And that's what happens. You can open up a double-digit lead, and we know that Celtics can do that because they've done it to so many other teams. They did it to every single team along the way. And these were really good teams. They were battle-tested all the way through, coming into the NBA Finals. We talked about it. Sherrod said it, a couple of nights ago. Max and I said it. In terms of experience, I think the Celtics, they get a pass. They get a pass because of how dominant they've been and how battle-tested they've been up to this point, and this shows it in a big way in game one. What a message.
Yeah, I'm looking so forward to game two, just to seeing the adjustments made by both teams. Because even when you win, you got to tweak some things, and the Celtics know that. But Golden State, I mean, the thing that I'm not sure they're going to be able to fix is their defense. I mean, they've got a very good defense, but the Celtics offense, I think, is a bad matchup for their defense. Because at some point, the gimmicky defense that you use it's just not going to work. At some point, you're going to have to actually play man-to-man. You're going to have to man up. You're going to have to actually have Steph guard a Marcus Smart or a Derek White. And at some point, and Josue, the point that you made earlier about Klay Thompson, who one of my favorite players, he's not right. You can tell he's not that guy that he used to be. And it's sad because you want to see him get back to that level that he was before he had all the injuries, because he's a hell of a player when he's at. He wasn't right. A lot of their guys just didn't seem right. And I think, John, the point that you made about just wearing guys down, I think that has a lot to do with it. I think because the way this game was officiated, I mean, if you notice, nobody is complaining or saying
great job by the refs.
They let them play.
Dude,
they absolutely let them play.
Complete non-story tonight.
Absolute. As somebody in the comments put it in there, a terrific game, and you did not have people barking both sides.
Yeah.
It was a perfect game. No excessive whistles. You know, you're always going to think you maybe got caught on the arm on a few of those. That's standard fare, but the refs had an amazing game. And that benefits the Celtics too, because you need to be able to play up on these guys. You need to play physical. You need to get through these screens, you know, and you got to make your physicality and your presence felt. That helps. A game officiated like this really benefits Boston.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there were a total of, I think it was 31 fouls between the two teams. No, 29. 16 against Golden State, 13 against Boston. Great flow. Great flow with the game. We didn't feel like we were watching, you know, a lot of the games that we've seen up to this point where the officials, all of a sudden, they become a story. Didn't feel that way at all.
They weren't part of the story. That's good. That's good. Like that's what Jimmy just said, right? Yeah, that's good. They're not part of the story like they typically happen throughout this postseason. Yeah, that's the way it should be in the NBA Finals. It should be chippy.
That's it.
I'm happy Draymond said that. That's good. That's par for the course, man. Keep it going. Like if you're the Celtics. I mean, it's not sure you're not gonna expect this team to knock down 22 or 21 threes every single game, but you got to take that personally for him to say that, you know, if you're Marcus, if you're Derek White. So I can't wait for game 2, man. I can't wait. This is going to get even better.
I just want to see how it goes. That was the whole thing, is like so much of it was theoretical, just in terms of like the offense versus the defense. How good is Golden State's defense? You know, the X factor guys who might play. Peyton, is he going to come in, slow down Tatum? Blywini didn't, but you know, how was Rob going to look? So much you just kind of needed to see at once. We got a good glimpse of both sides, I think, here. I don't think by any means it's over. I just do think that, you keep saying the same thing. It's just, I do think Boston's got the thing that they don't have to worry about, and Golden State's going to have to solve things where the Celtics just have to kind of play their game, because there really isn't another way that they can play. They're just going to do what they do, and Golden State's got to figure out what the best way to solve that is, and what type of lineups that they want to use and how to go about it. Because otherwise, I mean, they're just used to just being Golden State, right? Like it's us, and we do what we do, and we have this awesome motion offense, and we, get moving, and we get a ton of, a ton of open threes off of screens and back cuts and all of this stuff. And, if the Celtics are uniquely designed to be able to make it hard on them to get the types of things they normally get, what do? Do they reinvent themselves? Do they just kind of hope that they shoot lights out every game in order to beat them? Do they hope that Boston goes ice cold? Do they try to play a more defensive lineup to try to keep the Celtics, at bay? I'm really not sure. I'm curious, what kind of adjustments comes back in game 2. Yeah. Interesting, though. Entertaining as hell.
Oh, totally. It was great. I mean, back and forth. It's what you want. A lot of people were hyped up for this matchup too. I mean, this was like years in the making. Mm-hmm. And this game was exciting as hell, man, from start to finish, really. I mean, there wasn't that many lull points. I mean, I think there was a point there where it looked like the Warriors could have run away with it. But if you watch the Celtics team this year, or the second half of this year, you had to think that the Celtics had one little run left in them. I'll admit, I was hand up. I didn't think that the Celtics were going to win this game after the way the third quarter ended, but I didn't think they were going to lie down either. I didn't think that they were just going to let it blow open. I was shocked at how quickly they turned it around. Like me and John talked about to start the show. It was like all of a sudden you looked up and it was like they were down 3, and then all of a sudden they kept answering, and then they went on that run. How many points in a row did they score in that fourth quarter? It was a
11-0.
It was 11? Yeah, I mean, that
11-0 run, yeah. They called timeout, and then they added another one right after that.
Yeah, I mean, damn, it was tough to do in the finals, man. I mean, it's the best of the best. It's tough. It is a game of runs, but, the later you get into the year, into the season, I'm seeing 17-0. I don't know if that's accurate, but the later you get into the season, the harder it is to go on runs like that, because both teams are so court. So you got to really give them credit. It looks like it's 17-0. Run that they went on. So maybe it was a couple timeouts or something that broke it up. But I know, Josue, you got your eyes all over the place over there, so it's probably.
No, I mean, like, maybe did it bleed from in the third quarter? No, it must have started at the fourth, because that fourth quarter, that was all Celtics, man. They were scoreless.
Yeah,
The Warriors were scoreless for like 3.5 minutes.
It was basically
there was a lot of celebs in the crowd, I bet.
It was 103-100, and then I do believe it became 117-103. So that would be a 17-0 run. That's what it was.
Well, it's Draymond Green to do that math for.
And that's what it was, because that's when they just got boom, 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 3 straight threes there.
Yeah,
it was 103-100. White hit the 3. And then Al hit the 3. Then they took the timeout. Then they took the timeout, came out. Draymond turned it over. Al hit another 109-103 right there.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and that's what happened. And then
2
boom,
threes,
117-103 in ball game. That was it. It was went from 103 to 100 to 117-103, a 17-0 run, which was just unbelievable. Golden State didn't score a point for 5 minutes.
Yeah, like that's the
just like that.
Golden State can go on, right? Like just like that. And
it's amazing.
You have to have the weapons for the Suns have to have the weapons to pull that off, obviously. But these guys, man, they weren't afraid of that moment. Like Al Horford wasn't even thinking twice to take those threes.
But that's what's amazing to me. The Warriors had the Celtics' worst nightmare game. Where it just got away from them in a 4 or 5 minute stretch, and they got their doors blown off. Like that's the Celtics fans' worst nightmare for a fourth quarter for your team. Yes, Jimmy.
Hold up. I'll be right back.
Are you okay?
All right, word.
Is he well? Is he?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm trying to plug in my damn computer.
I'm gonna get rid of you.
Jimmy, you're not supposed to answer that.
I'm just I'm just plugging in my damn computer.
I was thinking of something about DMs with Jimmy, but
what was the guys? Any observations?
Like, she finally responded, huh, Jimmy?
Any observations from being there? Just stuff that you guys saw. On the sidelines, demeanor, body language, anything that was interesting to talk about.
Bill Walton was Bill Walton.
Yeah,
he was.
He's just Bill Walton. I mean, he's just entertaining by simply just sitting his ass down and just being there is entertainment. I'm a big Bill Walton fan. I
love Bill Walton.
He's just seeing him was great for me.
Remember the first Fenway shows they did at the Garden. I mean, the Fenway concerts they did was Bruce Springsteen.
Right.
And I lucked into ridiculously good tickets for one of those shows, and I was 12th row, and in the 9th row was Bill Walton, just right up from me. And I swear I just watched Walton the whole show. I couldn't take my eyes off him. just watching him.
He must have been going nuts.
No, he's just sitting there. He just kind of every once in a while just pump his fist, but he has a smile on the whole time. I couldn't stop. This huge grin. I watched Walton for the entire show. I don't think I looked up at Bruce once. But yeah, no, he's cool as hell. It seemed cool. Yeah. Oh, Jimmy wants in. He's waving. He's trying to get in.
There he is.
He's trying to get in.
You know what's pretty cool actually? Jay-Z was in the house. He was in the front row, and like that's Jason Tatum's guy. Like when you hear Jay all over the playlist, like everyone knows that Tatum, because Tatum's a huge Jay-Z fan, especially like the old cuts. Like always say, man, he's an old soul. So I thought that was pretty cool for him to.
You think that's why he was nervous?
I thought so a little bit. No, I don't think that's why. But no, afterwards you got a chance to meet him. He's never met him before, and listen, you can't go shake Jay's hand after an L, right? So it was fitting for him to get the win. And shout out to Brett Hampton, who took a few pictures of them two embracing each other. And of course, Tatum can't wait to get a copy of those. But he also said, hey, Jay, you got to come out to Boston too, right? You got to fit. You know what? You're right. So we'll see if Jay makes an appearance back east.
I don't know, man.
And Kanye.
You know what? That's Gucci's. That's Gucci's turf, man.
Yeah.
I don't give that Gucci main seat up for Jay-Z as much as I love
Gucci. I think Gucci be all right. He could bump over.
Jay and Kanye. I love it.
Well, that's true. We're gonna get Kanye in the building now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got to get him in the building now that he's rocking with JT.
I hope we get Watch the Throne.
I think
too, please.
I think we've gone long enough saying really nice things about everybody for people not to get mad. For us to ask, what do you think was wrong with Jason tonight?
I think it was a combination of a couple things. I just think that he had a bad night. And I think
Stop being negative.
Part
what
I'm
the
just
hell,
kidding. Go
Deshaun?
ahead.
part of the
Hater.
I think a big thing is he came into this game looking to be more of a playmaker. I mean, the guy had 7 assists without a single turnover in the first, I think it was first quarter, first half, something like that. And I'm cool with him dropping dimes like that and not turning the ball over because I know that that's so not who he is and not really his game. But if he's able to do that, the shots are going to fall at some point. I thought, again, when he continued to miss shot after shot, I'm thinking it's just going to be one of those nights where they're just going to come up close. Good try, good effort by the Celtics part. Try to regroup for game 2. But then, damn, Derek White starts splashing. Al Horford splashing. Marcus Smart splashing. And the next thing you know, Tatum ain't even thinking about shooting. He's just looking to get the ball to the guys who got the hot hand, which was the right thing to do. Jaylen Brown, big game. I don't think we talked enough about Jaylen Brown and his play tonight. But we're getting off. So we just did. We just talked enough about Jaylen Brown. Had a good game. Shut it down, John. We're done.
We brought him up.
We gave
brought
Jalen
him up.
love.
But Sherrod,
That's our cue.
if we did that before you got your word in, by all means, we should.
We're good.
You should get your
We're
word
good.
in.
We're good.
I think we all agree that he was the catalyst in that fourth quarter. Jaylen Brown.
Yes,
I mean,
agreed.
he was the guy who kind of got aggressive early on, got the boys going, sort of put them in the right direction.
One of these days he'll get a brownie.
I agree,
Yeah.
but the guy that to me again just blew the whole damn game up was Al. I mean, when he
Oh, you want to talk about Jalen?
I did. We moved on.
That was it. We're
He
done.
gave him his 15 seconds.
Jalen had a great. Jalen had a great game. He really did. And you're
Jalen
right.
had a great stretch of the fourth quarter. He was pretty ice cold heading into it.
Man.
But they needed.
They stepped up when they needed.
Yeah.
He was
and
really.
were we afraid of that, guys? Come on, we gotta give him credit because we were afraid of that.
He was awesome,
I
and
brought
they
it up,
needed it
and you
because they
guys-
needed
You
someone.
guys agreed with me, but you guys agreed with me though that Jalen can get really shy in the fourth quarter, and he was not at all in this game.
Love that. And they needed, and he knew that JT didn't have it going on, and so he just said, "Yeah, well, JT."
That's what the number 2 is supposed to do. Exactly.
And you know what I'm happy about? I'm happy that it didn't turn into your turn, my turn.
Well,
because when Jalen started getting his,
those are the old days. Come on,
no, meaning
that was months
I'm
ago.
glad Tatum recognized that he had it going and didn't. The next time he got the ball, thinking like, "No, I'm gonna no. Ooh, you scored. Now I'm going to." I think he kind of got like, "It's not really my night," and kind of remained distributor for the rest of it. He letting Jalen cook and letting everybody else kind of do their thing. And I don't even know how many shot attempts he had there in the fourth quarter.
Into the CLNS archives, Joseph. He's about to bring up uncomfortable conversations, I think, next. Way back.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
No, I like that because sometimes that happens, which is like, okay, you got a run of yours, let me get some of mine too, and it didn't happen in this game.
No, you're right.
Jalen took like 6 shots. Jalen took like 6 shots in the fourth. I think it was like 4 for 6, something like that.
Yeah.
But like
he was just really aggressive, assertive.
Yeah, and Tatum didn't really want.
Jimmy.
Yeah, I'll be your JB for the show. Tatum didn't really want
Oh,
the
hell
shots
no.
tonight. Tatum didn't really want the shots tonight, so there wasn't really.
Tatum only took 3 shots in the fourth.
Yeah, but remember once upon a time when JC used to think that the only way Celtics could survive, 12-point deficit, if he had to go off, like that's the only way they were going to win. Like he's matured.
This was a trust game. This was a trust game for him. This was a definite trust game for him. Trust that my teammates,
especially in the finals.
Yeah, this was a definite trust game for Tatum.
My God, were these just yuck, Tatum.
Yeah, he's gonna have to figure it out because
yuck. One field goal in the second half. Blah.
He does that,
and it was at the rim.
You know that.
Gross. Yeah, he's a little Euro step.
Mm-hmm.
The little Euro step. That's it. Ugh.
He's done.
He didn't disappear
before.
though. Yeah, he didn't disappear. So that was
before.
3
that
field
that
goals.
was huge. And I felt like the Warriors were like, "Oh wait, this isn't what you guys do. You guys don't just turn to Tatum at the end of the foot." Oh, like this team is when they start stringing together stops, like they're looking for the open guys. They're whipping that ball around, and especially in transition. I love that they weren't letting the Warriors settle in there, especially when they were calling timeouts and after the huge run, and something's kept it going. Man, that was incredible. Especially here, this place was quiet. You remember, Sherrod? I thought I heard towards the end. I thought I heard a little.
Yeah, you did.
I was like, man, I did, right?
You did.
It was a light one, but
I was shocked.
This place cleared out quick.
Yeah,
I think it was like the 2-minute mark. Yeah.
All right, ready? What do we need? above all else.
Bobby.
Bobby Manning.
Bobby to say that it's over.
It's over.
We need a
Phenomenal. Phenomenal game.
We need prisoner of the moment, Bobby. Everybody.
Yeah, we should drop that Kenny Smith line. It's over.
We need Bobby Manning to tell us it's over.
That's how
Bobby's
feeling.
Huh?
Oh, he's here.
Oh, what's up, Bobby? Oh,
In
he's
the
here.
flesh.
He's not gonna say it now because we said all that. But listen.
We need Bobby to tell us it's over.
I wasn't gonna say that. What have we learned over the last couple series here? Game 1 means
I hope
you was thinking it.
What have you learned?
I hope you've learned something.
Yeah, what have you learned?
Game 1 means the least of any game, by far. It might be the least emblematic. And it's funny because statistically, it seems to mean a lot on paper, probably just because a million first-round teams have won the first game and gone on to win pretty easily. But in general, from just a bunch of series I've watched, the tone that's set in Game 1 doesn't necessarily carry over. Now, again, I don't want to start off on this negative note and have everyone pile on me here. So
Too late.
Coming in.
Well, you did. So
This was
Bobby,
absolutely brilliant. I mean, this is a hardwood classic right here. Just an all-timer.
Yes.
Nice. I like
This had to be historic. This had to be historic. What happened here?
Classic.
I mean, a 27-point turnaround in 11 minutes. I mean, obviously, it was a monsoon of shooting from Al Horford, Derek White, and others. Peyton Pritchard as well getting involved there. But I could feel it, Jimmy. You were ready to unload on Jason Tatum midway through the game, and I told you the passing was carrying it. This was this might have been his best passing game I've ever seen.
The passing was carrying it, Bobby. They were down by double digits going into the fourth quarter, man. They weren't carrying anything. Carrying an L.
Because the Warriors can pile on with the shooting. They're shooting 45%.
I understand, but Bobby, as you said, he's piling up assist numbers and they're losing. You know, so we wouldn't be celebrating Tatum's passing game. Let's just leave Tatum out of it. Let's just leave him out of it.
Oh, he was the most important factor tonight, I thought. He was starting those strings of passes. He was drawing all the attention. Ime said it too. They were boxing wanting him. And
we waited an hour and 15 minutes for you to come on and say that.
That completely collapsed the defense.
That's what you brought.
That completely collapsed the defense, and they had shooters wide open. And, Pritchard said it too. Like, it changed the way that Golden State had a guard. And sure, the gravity of some shooters did too late, but that avalanche of Celtics shooting didn't happen until the fourth quarter. The Celtics, I don't want to hear about a double-digit deficit, Jimmy. Every game gets to double digits now with the threes. They were right within.
In your face, Toscano.
You say
are you gonna take that?
Bobby's
I don't even know what to say to that.
Are you going to let him talk to you like that? You're going to let Snyder talk to you like that?
Tatum's passing is the reason what they scored all those points in the fourth quarter?
No, his passing kept them in it throughout. They were within 4.5, right? 4 or 6. And, this wasn't a double-digit game the whole way and a massive comeback. And they got right within 4 or 2 there, right within the opening minutes of the fourth quarter. Like, this happened quickly. And again, this is what John talked about, and we've all talked about it a little bit, is the Celtics don't go down by much in these games. What was the biggest deficit tonight? It had to be less than 20. So they're always in it.
It was 15.
13 or 14?
No, it was 15. I think got up to 15, at one point.
Yeah, even going into the fourth, that wasn't even the case. It was 12 going into the fourth.
The Warriors were never in control of this. I found it kind of shocking that Draymond post-game said they were in full control for
we were talking about that
minutes or
in the first hour and 15 minutes of the show.
That's mind games.
Yeah, that's just
mind games inside of saltiness.
Bobby, you're gonna miss an hour 15. You're gonna miss a few things. But yeah, we did. You're right, Draymond. Boy, that was a ridiculous comment, right?
Yeah, and it's
42 minutes. Give me a break. The game was freaking tied. Celtics had the lead at the half.
In Draymond's defense, numbers seem difficult for him in the middle of the whole quarter. So.
They're not going to give the Celtics the credit, John. Like, we talked about this coming in. They sweet talked them all day yesterday. Oh, this up and coming team. They kind of remind us of ourselves.
Yes.
We had a feeling they were going to get caught off guard, John, and they did in that fourth quarter.
Exactly,
absolutely. Bobby. I think that's spot on. Honestly, it was like, oh yeah, they're cute. They're a cute little team. Like that's how
they
felt.
Do nice stuff.
They reminded me of a younger me. It's like
yeah.
Like,
Back when we were
we're
little
supposed
pups,
to say that.
back when we were nice little
Yeah.
puppies. They remind us when we were little pups.
Yeah.
And we were just learning.
Scrappy.
But
I think
Right.
that's spot on.
Little,
It was like,
Sparky.
little tap on
they
the
were talking.
head.
They were talking
Good
down
job.
to
they play with a lot of
Yeah.
spunk. They play with a lot of spunk
Yeah.
out there. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
Sparky.
Yeah, they're sparky. Yeah,
Well, let's keep it 100.
they're happy
though.
to be. You
They're
can
not-
tell they're happy to be here.
They
But-
weren't watching Celtics tape. I don't think they were. At
But
least-
Bobby,
at
on
least
top of
before
the 42 minutes thing, Bobby, he also kind of dragged the. He's like, those guys. He's like, oh, well, let's look at the numbers. Horford and
How bad
D-
was he, by the way? This
but
is one of
he-
his worst games I've
But
ever
he's like
seen.
Horford, D. White, and blah 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 shot all those threes. He's like, that's not going to happen again. So I mean, again, they
Oh, so
didn't.
you mean you're gonna go defend the 3-point shot this time, J-Rock? I felt like he was
Right.
letting him shoot it. Like he didn't believe in it. Like he was like, no, this isn't gonna happen. And then it happened. It was like, oh, that's not gonna happen again. It's like, but you
Right.
could have. Why didn't you try to prevent that in game 1? But hey, he was just as surprised as most of these Warriors fans out here.
Oh,
But
they were
then-
stunned. The crowd, all those threes falling.
Right.
It was like, oh my God, how'd that happen?
That was unbelievable.
They're like,
It
Derek,
was.
who? They were so confused.
And another Al 30 bomb. I mean, this is just getting silly at this point.
After the timeout, that was
I
the one
was-
I loved too. Yeah.
I was pretty high on the move, and it's miles and miles and miles and miles and miles better than I could have ever imagined this going. I mean, this is some of the best basketball he's played in his life. Never mean like, oh, this is similar to his prime, and this is, he looks like
It's
the old
insane.
Al. This is in some ways better than what Al's ever given anyone before.
And the
But
best
that's
thing
the
about
Bobby.
it is,
It's supposed to be
Definitely.
heightened at this level, okay? He's never been at this level. So I'm like, wait a minute. Going into this one, we may see Al take it to another level, or at least the one that we saw, in a couple of games throughout the last 2-3 series. Like, that might be the Al we see throughout, because he's just riding on fumes at this point. He knows that, 2 weeks left of basketball? I'm going to give it all I got. That's Al's approach right now.
but man, does this schedule benefit the Celtics, man? With these off days built in here.
How do you like Rob tonight, John?
We talked a little about Rob. I think this was, between. I think the best version is something you can't expect. Between what we hoped and our work there was somewhere in the middle. I thought,
I think it's accurate.
I think he wasn't, knowing that he's limited, I still thought he provided enough of a presence, and it mattered with when he was back there on that back line, and they felt his presence. I think they got him out on the perimeter and made him work a little bit on some of those switches and made him guard shooters one-on-one and try to wear him down. And that's going to happen. That's going to happen. Curry got him one time, but I actually thought he acquitted himself fairly well, even when he was on an island out there on the perimeter. And then just him being back there mattered. He had a couple of blocks. So
4
if
blocks.
you can I know if you can get this out of him, I think you'd be happy, because I don't think you're going to get that much more.
Yeah, this is the high end of his impact given his status. I think that's a good way to put it. And
it's like
is that
talked about before the game.
Is that the impact of, what was it, 3 days off? There'll be 2 days off between the games here. It's a good position for Boston to be in, as you say, John. Like, it's going to keep everybody fresh and recovered throughout. Not only that, gives the Celtics some good adjustment time to really look at this film, because how bad was the defense in the first? My Lord, they didn't look like they ever watched the Warriors in their life.
Horrible.
They're dropping.
And they do. Rob does drop, and Al does drop, and it's what they do. And for the love of God, Bobby, what did you do to get Tice 6 minutes in the first quarter? Who did you?
That was crazy.
Who did you pay? What? I went to get a drink of water, and I came back, and Tyson Pritchard were in there, and I was like, what happened?
Hey.
Pritchard was fine, but I was
got a shot. Pritchard's got a shot to make it. Yeah, okay,
he can play this
Pritchard's
series.
All right,
that's one of those things.
I'll tell him you said that, John. I got you.
Yeah,
that's one of those things you probably tried it tonight, because you're not going to try it in game 7. You're going to try it early in game 1, see if you can get something good out of those minutes, and they didn't. So I think you're going to be well redeemed on Tice by the end of this year, John.
I'm not looking for a win there. I'd rather he be that guy who can play decent minutes.
What are you looking for him in 6 minutes? Like, what
We're not looking for anything.
3,
a
guess.
double.
Minutes.
John wants a double.
I'm looking for not 6 minutes. I'm looking for no minutes. That's all I'm looking for. Once again, remind people.
Was it him trying it, or was it limiting Rob? Like,
Just
trying to limit Rob's minutes.
I would have rather just gone small and just gone with the D White multiple guard lineup there. I just don't see the point. I just don't know what he does for you that you can't get something better with a different lineup. I think every lineup with Daniel Tice is worse than any other lineup you could play. I don't know how else to put it. I'd rather play anyone else who normally play against anybody.
What do you mean?
There's never a circumstance I think Daniel Tice makes you better, ever. I don't know how much clearer I can say this.
So pretty much the starting lineup and Derek White.
Never, ever Derek White, ever.
So when this game
Daniel Tice.
When this game comes on the Hardwood Classics in 20 years, John's gonna be like, "That's the game they gave Tice too many minutes."
Yeah.
John's gonna flip the stage.
I don't ask.
Checks in. Checks in the game. Why he checked in? I don't get it.
I don't ask for much.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, don't play Daniel Tice. It's not that much. Once again, want to remind everybody of our sponsor for at least games 1 and 2 of the playoffs here. calm.com/garden. Receive 40% off a Calm premium subscription. Your number one health and wellness app. Great opportunity to get your mind and your body right. We're going to need it during this long and maybe not as stressful as we thought series, but definitely go get some. Sleep stories, meditation.
Use it, John. I bet you got some Warriors fans in the video tonight.
Nature sounds, yeah, lots of good stuff here. So go check that out, guys. Final thoughts looking ahead to game 2. What do you think we're looking at that's going to be different? Bobby, I'll start with you.
Oof, good question for Golden State. Certainly, I think they probably got to tighten up this rotation a little bit, not going as deep into the bench, and find ways to protect Curry. And that's going to be hard. That was one of our keys coming into the series, right? Is they're going to attack him. They try to zone it up to protect him, and that didn't work either. But on his end, it was 2 offensive fouls, right, that got him to 5. So he's got to not do that, and he'll be in a better position to play more. And unfortunately for Golden State, it looks like if he's off the court, they're just going to die. So I don't know what you can do to counteract that. But, it's interesting. Ime talked about this after the game. He's really keen in on the fact that the teams that they've played have been so over-reliant on one player, where if you take that guy out of the game, the team's completely out of it. And the Celtics have done the opposite here and spread the wealth, really emphasize getting others going, having multiple layers of ball handling and creation. You see Brown starting off the 4th, you see Tatum finishing the 4th. So that's another reason I feel good about the Celtics in this series, one of many. Again, I just love this matchup for them. I don't think there's going to be a runaway because of what happened tonight. In fact, you'll probably see the best of Golden State coming back in game 2. But you saw in many ways tonight just how tough of a series this is for the Warriors and just how well the Celtics match up with them.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I think, honestly, Steve Kerr is going to try to unlock Klay Thompson. What I mean by that is just trying to get a more open look, get him more comfortable out there. He seemed kind of rushed some of his jump shots. And obviously when Steph Curry was going off the way he was in that first quarter, I just felt like they just weren't trying to – they were just trying to look for the open shot in general, the best shot in general. I don't think they were trying to actually make plays for him. So I think Kerr's going to try to do that, get him more into the series, because obviously that's a big scoring threat, for the Celtics to have to worry about on top of what Steph Curry can do, which we saw in a big way in the first half. Ime talked about limiting Steph Curry after that first quarter, which of course they did, to 13 points through the last 3 quarters. I mean, that's as good as it gets for someone like Steph Curry in the NBA Finals. So I think Steve Kerr is going to try to balance that, Curry's attack with the other Splash brother. Also try to open up the paint a bit, try to get guys, backdoor cuts, try to get more looks. They were really, for obvious reasons, just looking for the 3 to get back in when it was too late. And even before that, I just felt like there were Celtics were the defense. They were a little loose with the basketball, so they'll try to clean that up as well in terms of limiting their turnovers. But I think Klay Thompson is key for the Warriors, and for the Celtics, seeing someone like Jason Tatum, find his rhythm offensively, I think is going to happen naturally. I think he has a really good game out here. I don't know if it'll be one of those 40 piece performances, but it'll be an efficient scoring performance. I think from Tatum. I think we see that happen here in game 2.
Sherrod?
More Klay, less Green, Josue, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Get Green going in other ways on the defensive end, but I don't think that'll be the game plan on offense.
No, if you're the Celtics, I mean, you have to stay hungry. You have to stay thirsty. You can't just be satisfied that you came here and got a win and took home control early on in the series. And that's my biggest concern with the Celtics is just complacency. Going kind of really giving into some of those bad habits that we saw back at the early part of the season and some of those bad habits we saw at the very end of Game 7 against Miami. They need to stay. They need to bring with that energy, that focus, that attention to detail that we saw in the latter stages of this game to Game 2. They do that, they got a chance to do the unthinkable for a lot of people, and that is position themselves to sweep these guys, which I don't think.
Whoa! Where'd that come from?
Whoa, that's Bobby's. That's Bobby's.
Hey! In position to sweep. I got you, Sherrod.
Can you?
This thing is over.
Hey, thank you, Joe Sway.
Translate.
Yeah.
Joe Sway, can you do the exact? That's
a
what we're
pretty
talking
phenomenal shirt, Sherrod.
I think I'm hearing Bobby's music.
Right now, the Celtics are in position to sweep. Golden State is not. That's a fact. Okay,
That's
doesn't mean they're going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
On pace.
Sweep talk.
But they can't. But the Celtics can't just be lethargic and just assume that they got the one win, and so we're just going to go back and we're in control. They've got to play with a similar focus that we saw down the stretch in this game. They can't be.
Yeah.
They just can't be. They can't get fat and happy with one win.
Yeah.
That's what I worry.
Which could happen. But that could happen. Yeah.
I'm going to use that as my headline tonight. Celtics position sweep.
In position to sweep.
Not even talking about it.
Wow. Just
You
title
will,
tag.
Bob.
Fat and happy Celtics in position to sweep.
Yeah.
I like
That would not be. That's not phenomenal, Bobby. That's not phenomenal.
That's not the move. That's not the move.
For me, what I want to see from the Celtics, I want more physicality. You're the younger team. You can be a physical team. I think the thing that bothered me tonight was the second chance opportunities for the Warriors. And I want the Celtics to be a little bit more forceful on the glass. I don't want to see Looney running around like an animal like he was tonight. So I think the Celtics, if they can come out tough, set the tone, put Curry on his ass, put Clay on his ass. I'm not saying play dirty, but be physical with these guys. Don't let them dance all around you on your way.
Yeah, but they keep hiding behind screens, Jimmy. That's the thing, man.
Well, and sometimes you got to knock through a couple of screens, and then those guys think twice about setting those screens. So
No, they don't. They'll keep setting because you're picking up fouls when you do that,
Fine.
Jimmy.
Whatever. Sometimes,
Come on, Jimmy.
Once in a while, a foul is worth it. I'm not saying getting the bonus with 8 minutes left, but I want to see a little bit more physicality, a little bit more toughness down there under the basket.
Yeah.
Jimmy's
to your point, Jimmy.
Flagrant. Tice, come on.
Yeah. Flagrant. Send in the goons for a few minutes if you have to. Send in Tice. Send in whoever else.
To your point, Jimmy.
Violence.
I think you are going to have to do that, Jimmy, if Curry's not committing offensive fouls. Because, again, that was the brunt of his fouling in this one. You forced a few on him with your offense, but he just committed stupid offensive fouls too. Yeah.
Right.
My thought, I'm not as bullish as Sherrod, who's predicting a sweep. But
clip it, Ahmed. Just clip those 5 seconds.
I'm just glad that Joe Sway actually listened. Thank you, Joe Sway.
I got you.
Something sweep. Put it, Ahmed. Put it in the headline and print. Celtics Insider predicts sweep.
No. When you do that though, zoom into Bobby's face because his jaw dropped.
People will just assume that it's Bobby who said it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'll say is this, and again, it mirrors
it's the reverse of the Dirk question from last show, which we won't even get into because we got
this mirrors a lot of what I think about Golden State, and they showed it both in the fourth quarter and in their post-game commentary. The Celtics, I believe, at the opposite of what Sherrod said, I don't think they're fat and happy. I actually think the Celtics are like, we did a lot of things poorly that we have to tighten up. And Golden State's, have the Draymond Green kind of like, they got lucky. Golden State, the Celtics think they have to be better and they won. And Golden State thinks the Celtics can't possibly play any better. And we'll just eventually overtake them with our awesome Golden State-ness. And I think they got to wake up and recognize and it might not be pretty, and you might be like, it's that guy, that grinder who you're like, I friggin' take that guy, and then he beats you, and you're like, how the F did that happen? Then it happens 8 times in a row, and you're like, God, what is going on here?
Who is this dude?
What the is going on there? And I think Golden State and again, this was my prediction coming in. I don't think Golden State's fully
stumble.
ready for what the Celtics can do.
That was a great prediction, John.
When they play their best, I think they're less ready for it than. And I actually think the Celtics came in not fully ready for what Golden State was, but they reacted and adjusted better. And so Golden State's got to be worried in that capacity, because they have to play better overall and do a lot of things differently and start to dig in and think about what kind of schemes and adjustments are they going to make to match the Celtics. And again, this is why I like the Celtics in this series. I still think based off of, them just being able to get nuclear at any time and bury you behind a 20-point lead, which they can do sometimes without, and possibly an experience factor, or the Celtics, maybe choking one away. It'll stay close, but I really do. I everything I heard from that post game, I was like, I don't think you guys are getting it right now. This isn't a laugh it off sort of thing. Like D White's not going to hit his threes. I think they got to get serious. They're acting like they're kind of too. We got it.
Right.
That's not going to happen
we
again.
Dominated this
Those
game.
upstarts are never going to beat us again. I don't think they got the right frame of mind.
How about the turnovers, John? Remember?
But it makes me.
Hold on, Josue, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say real quick. It makes me wonder what the heck Steve Kerr was saying in that locker room. Like, or maybe this is just head games by Draymond. It could be either or. But like, when it comes down to it, it boils down to how they're going to respond. And that comes down to Steve Kerr. He's got to make adjustments. He's got to take this thing seriously, which I think he will. So I can't wait to see how he does it. Go ahead, Bobby.
And we talked about it with the turnovers too, John. You're going to be able to get away with those a little more in this series because the Warriors will throw it right back. And how many times did they turn the ball over right after the Celtics didn't?
Again,
it was
pivotal moment. Possibly the pivotal moment of that fourth when things were getting really bad there. Celtics take a 3-point lead. Golden State calls a timeout. Right out of the timeout, they turn it over. Transition, Celtics hit another 3. And again, we were joking. That's like the most Celtics thing in the world to do. Like, I can't believe you just turned it over off a timeout. And they did it. So they do the things that you're hoping the Celtics don't do. Golden State's doing to itself and did to itself in critical times tonight.
Another thing you like about this matchup.
Yeah, so I'm not all the way, like I said, I'm not Sherrod, with the whole sweep thing, but I feel even better.
Getting there, though.
I'm getting there. I'm starting to get there.
Funny.
I might have to change my prediction too.
Wait till game 3. Wait till game.
What do you think Joso's thinking about his prediction on the show? Yeah, he had Warriors. He might be.
He had Warriors.
He's gonna have to win four
of the next 5 to do it. To get the Gelso prediction. Anyway,
he also predicted 3 Tatum triple doubles, right? And Tatum was pretty close in this one. I was like, Nick, that one's veering in the right direction.
Yeah,
bold prediction a little better than yours.
Couple promotional things. We'll just let you know if you want to keep the chat going, and many of you are already on there right now. Join our Discord family, clnsmedia.com/Discord. The chat is rolling all day long, before the game, through the game, after the game, and when I wake up. There you guys are. Everybody's there. They're hanging out. They're chatting. It's lively. It's fun. It's a good community. If you want to just kind of be somewhere where there's good, fun Celtics chat without people, being assholes and yelling at each other, this is an excellent place to be. So go check it out. clnsmedia.com/Discord. Join the conversation. Once again, we want to let people know about our sponsor, Calm, #1 health and wellness app out there. Sleep, meditation, whatever you need, get your mind and body right. Calm.com/garden. Receive 40% off a Calm premium subscription. As always, check us out at clnsmedia.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channels if you haven't already. Let's jack those subscriptions up, people. Celtics All Access, CLNS Media. Come on. Let's go. Let's go.
Baby.
We're here all through the finals doing daily shows until the Celtics bring home banner 18 is what we are hoping for.
That's right.
We're going to let these guys go to work because they still got time. They still got stuff to do out in Golden State. So we'll say goodbye to our Golden State crew. Sherrod Blakely, best in the business.
Yeah, buddy.
#1, Sherrod Blakely.
By the way, Sherrod on Dome Theory today talking about Tatum's passing. Great coincidence.
Yeah, he called that in the sweep. This for Sherrod.
Pre-game? What?
Sherrod knows.
That's a great
Joe,
tease. Go check out that episode.
Yeah. Joe Sway Pavone, obviously, Heavy.com, CLNS Media, Bobby Manning, Jimmy Toscano, John Zanis.
Hey,
thank
I
you
got,
guys.
I got a few minutes with Max right after the game, man. It's gonna be on YouTube soon.
Oh, you're doing that?
Just post game thought. No,
I love it.
Post game thoughts. He was on the court. It's not every night you see Max out here like half hour after the game. So
no,
I grabbed him. I grabbed him for a few minutes.
Max oftentimes doesn't see the last 2 minutes of a game.
Facts.
He's gonna kill me for laughing at that.
He's in the car. Grandy's got the.
Sherrod's both teams played hard right now. That's
Yes. See, that's why Jimmy's my guy. Jimmy.
Yeah.
I know it too. He's like, I'm
play hard. I'm like,
this one out.
damn, Max not 2 minutes. Oh shit.
Ooh, damn. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of Grandy in this final 2 minutes. Anyway.
Yeah.
Not touching it.
Anyway, thanks all. Thanks for hanging out. It was fun. We enjoyed you. As always, love having everybody on board here watching and listening. You can obviously get this as well. If you're caught on late, you can watch the replay on YouTube, or you can listen to the audio version if you subscribe to the Gar Report Postgame podcast. And that's available too, or if you want to roll it back in the morning here. Thanks again, everybody. Good night. Celtics up 1-0, game 2 on Sunday.